I would have forgot. Okay.
So you're gonna hit got it. Okay, got it.
Sherry just joined, so that's good. Let's give it like another minute or so.
Now, would you normally have people on mute and not showing, or so am I going to be somewhat in lecture mode, or because sometimes I'll ask questions. Yeah.
I was gonna ask people if you are able to turn your cameras on. It's just when as somebody who has experience with this, when you're talking to just a blank screen, it's really hard to like get engaged and like get into that energy and feel that, so if that's a possibility, that would be really, really helpful. I think everybody for the connection and everything. And we don't care what you're doing. You can be in your PJs. I actually am. So I have I was like, I just want to be comfy. So so you would never tell, but I decided to show you.
Nice.
Yeah, so thank you so much. If you are able to, then we
and anybody else that's in a situation where you're the dog's barking, or there's
just
noise
mute
around
yourself.
you, then you mute yourself and then come back on when you can. Yeah.
Yep, for sure. So okay, good. Let's wait one more minute and we'll start it. How about
hey, just don't yell, okay?
Okay. And or Rob, if you like, I can mute everybody when you start talking.
That's up to you.
Yeah.
But don't matter to me. I mean, if you hear noise, you can mute somebody, but whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
I'll let you lead on that end. Because sometimes I'm going to ask, there's a few things I'm going to be doing where there's participation. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. So it's 6:32 and we want to honor everybody's time.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'm going to begin. Hi, everybody. I'm so happy that you are here as always. And this is really, really special to me and to my heart, and especially, like my entire family, my husband. So the way I met Rob was actually my husband was struggling, just like in life in general, negative mindset, like he wasn't happy. He was absolutely miserable to a point where he was willing to work with a life coach, okay? And like if you could understand how, you probably have to get to a significantly painful place in order for a man to want to work with a life coach. That's just kind of how it is, okay? Or at least in my neck of the woods. And he was willing to work with a life coach, and that's how we came across Rob. And so we started working with Rob, and oh my God, it was night and day. My husband had completely changed and shifted into a different human being for the better. We had a connection. He was positive about things. I remember his business, he owned a business, his business income tripled, and Rob's, his first course that he did with him, it doesn't take that long to do. No. And he tripled his income. And I saw how this affected my husband. He was my boyfriend at that time. And, I decided to work with him after. I was like, I gotta do this. I had begun this journey with this company that I work with, and Tim was just like, you need to work with him. You need to work with him. You need to get these blocks out of the way. And I didn't really understand, but all I knew was that he changed my husband. And so I started working with him, and Rob has changed my life. He's changed our lives as a whole, but also my personal life. There's a lot of things. I had a lot of blocks, a lot of negative belief systems that I had grown up with, a lot of, trauma, just things that had happened to me, but things that I just adopted as my own, looking to my own circumstances to determine whether or not I was going to be successful, having no belief in myself, but kind of believing, you know what I mean? But Rob has, through working with Rob, I was making a certain amount of money a month. And after working, actually, we were a month and not even a month in working together. and it tripled. And by the time I was done working with Rob, I have increased 10 times my income by 10 times. And it's all from learning from him, listening to him, learning the laws of the universe and applying that.
And applying, yes.
That, and like learning, it's changed my life. I could talk about Rob for forever. I probably should stop talking.
Yeah, I was enjoying it. No, but
but yeah, I can't say anything. Like I could talk about him forever. Again, if you want to change your life, you want to be successful, and you want to get the blocks out of your way. I mean, this is like real life stuff, like a life sponsor. Like one more thing I'll say. I had a problem with forgiveness, and a lot of us do. A lot of us hold on to resentment, and we hold on to these things, but we don't understand that resentment and your inability to forgive is completely blocking you from your own abundance. And I didn't realize that, but literally the week that I decided to forgive somebody who had done harm to me and held on to that for a long time, the week I decided to forgive that person through working with Rob was one of the biggest weeks I've ever had income-wise. The biggest week. Like it came in like a waterfall, and like almost the day of that I decided to let that go and forgive this person. This is not a joke. This is really okay. Sorry. Rob, go ahead. Floor's yours.
All right. So I guess we would call that a great introduction. So my name is Rob Simonelli. I'm an award-winning certified life coach, and I've worked with the greatest in the industry. So tell you a little bit about me. If you think about the Tony Robbins, that's a name you'll know. Bob Proctor's, Dr. Wayne Dyer, who's passed, Louise Hay, who's passed. I've had the pleasure of sitting at these people's feet. So I'm not just somebody that did an online course and hung a shingle, and not that there's anything wrong with that if they're really good at it. But I learned it, I applied it, and I've had the pleasure of sitting at their feet. So it's not to impress you, it's to press upon you. Over the years, I've learned and applied, like Jamie and Tim, and I know what I'm doing. And the joy of seeing what's happening to these people like Tim. Tim is what we call a quantum leaper. People move. We do a 3-year vision. We'll do a little bit of that later, but we do a 3-year vision. And most people condense that vision, that dream that they have of their life, the dream life they want to have, they condense it into a year. He was well on its way before we even got done with the first 15-week program. And that doesn't mean that you cannot do that. And Jamie come in and did the same thing. They're what we call quantum leapers, and you can be the same. So really what started my work was, I've always done fairly well. I was what we call unconsciously competent. So some people liken it to, say, you might understand, like an Oprah Winfrey. It doesn't matter if you like her or not. Some people this morning said, well, I don't like her. That's not what I'm talking about. She had a really tough life in the beginning of her life, if any of you have heard her story. By the time she was 9 years old, she remembered applying attitudes, thought processes, self-auto-suggestions to get her out of that, crazy stuff. And I'm going to be this, and I'm going to do this. Even as she became a reporter, she's being told, you can't do that. Black women don't succeed at that, whatever it may be. And she was deciding that she was going to be successful. But she never knew that it was called the law of attraction, or that she was vibrating at a certain frequency. She never knew that until 2006. She's already a billionaire. So she was what we would call an unconscious competent. She was competent, but not conscious to what she was doing, right? And so she got so excited about The Secret in 2006 that she had them come on her show, the whole panel, and then loved them so much she had them come a second day in a row. And she said, wow, it has a name. It's called the law of attraction, right? And so she got really, really excited about that. So that's just an example. You can be doing good in life. I was doing good in life. That's where I was going with that. But when I met these people, when I saw The Secret in 2006, I'll back up 1 minute. I've been studying this stuff for 30 years. When I saw The Secret in 2006, I said, wait a minute, I'm 46 years old. Don't do the math. But anyway, I'm 46 years old in 2006, and I'm saying to myself, how can this be? How can this be and I not know this? Right? And then I even had some regret of, oh man, if only I'd known. And my coach, Mary Morrissey, which is my personal coach, mentor, and friend, said, nope, stop that. Nope, there's no regrets. You're right where you're supposed to be. And I learned that. And I decided in that moment that I was going to work with every single one on that panel. So I was either going to order their stuff, buy their stuff, and or meet them. And I've had the pleasure of meeting them, the Jack Canfields, all the Bob Proctors. Bob Proctor was one of my coaches as well. Again, sitting at the feet of the greatest people in this industry. So what happened for me? Well, I wasn't earning as much money as I wanted to. I started doing that. Found out my roof was leaking. Tim was a roofer. That's funny. Found out my roof was leaking. I needed a roof. Oh, I can't afford that. So I was brought up being told I can't afford things. Leave that alone. Can't afford that. Can't afford that. Do not tell people and yourself you cannot afford things. Just say it's not in the budget right now. Not a priority right now is even better. If you tell yourself or your kids they can't afford things, they will be people that can't afford things. Your subconscious will pick it up. So I'm in this and I'm learning this and I'm going forward and moving on. I'm bringing in things and to get to the last piece of that. I brought in a new job. I had a job I didn't like, had enough savings. The ice storm came in, I think, 2008. And I said, I'm done with this. And I took a leave and I decided I was going to find something new. Called in a new job at Moog, great company, great place to work. Did very, very well there. And but I was loving this. And I was loving the people I was meeting. And I was taking Mary's courses. I was taking Bob's courses. And I said to myself, what if I could do this? Nobody around me knows this stuff. Now, we don't like to say nobody and always and stuff, but the people around me, they would tell me, I know all about the law of attraction. And what I found out was they knew about it. They were exactly right. They know all about it. They know of it. But there was no evidences of them applying it. You can know about something, you can know of something, but are you applying it? Right? And I said, I can help them. And I said, and I told her, I want to partner with you, teach this stuff. Well, you can do that, but it's going to cost you. And it was, I tell you, it was a pretty considerable investment. And I did that. I moved forward, even with some fear. And I've absolutely loved it ever since. And I replaced my income at Moog, and I've been a full-time coach since 2014. But I started my business back in 2008. In 2009 and 10, I became an LLC. So I've been teaching this for a long time. I've taught hundreds of people. My wife said, you should say thousands by now. And it's just been such a joy to see people change, even if it's one thing in your life that's not going the way you want. Just change it and change it quickly, right? So the great thing for me was I'm sitting there in 2008, Halloween. I remember it very clearly. And I'm being told, as The Secret says in many other law of attraction books, write out what you want. And I've already done that. But now it's time to bring in my partner. My first wife had fallen to drugs and alcohol. It was a very tough situation, very tough time. I raised my daughter myself from 4 years old. She's still alive, but still in really, really bad shape this many years later. And it was time to move on. And I've came to that place where I'm doing this stuff. What if I could call in a partner? Now, I don't know how many of you are here that want to bring in a partner. Maybe have a partner and you want to enhance that relationship. I want to feel in love again, whatever it is for you, right? Or bring in a partner. And I decided, I'm going to really focus on bringing in a partner. And I did that. And I wrote it out on October 31st, Halloween. I met my wife 36 days later, December 6th. And some people say, well, that's really manifesting, but you were working on it. You were reading it every day. You were holding an intention, praying for it. You were telling people, hey, I'm open to meeting and dating. And you were probably calling on people, hitting on them, whatever it was. But no, I was just holding the intention, visualizing it, feeling the feeling of being the man, living that life, having that special someone in my life. And my wife now, I was at a benefit. Hit and Run was playing at a fire hall out in West Seneca. We were enjoying ourselves, me and my buddies. My buddy had a real tough divorce. I forced him to go out, have a beer. And we did that. And my wife now walked up to me. She introduced herself to me. I didn't make the introduction. And I don't know if you knew that, Jamie, but she walked up to me. And in my writing, I want a woman with green or blue eyes. Now, if you have different color eyes on there, it doesn't mean I wasn't attracted to people that had those, but there's something about a woman that had green or blue eyes. I found and I was being really detailed. My wife has both. She doesn't have one green eye and one blue eye. They change. And right. And so it was right to the T. So she introduced herself to me. We got into conversation. We even got into a little bit of dancing, and we've been joined at the hip ever since. We were married in 2010. So that's when I really, really decided there's more to this than what met the eye in the beginning, right? So I decided I was going to teach this and I was going to teach people. So, really, it's so exciting, right? So I'm going to tell you some things. I'm going to teach you some things, and then we're going to do some dream building. I think we talked about how can you create a life that you love? Well, how you create a life that you love is by thinking about it, is by getting clear on it. Do you know the majority of people don't know the life they'll love? If they say, well, if I win the lottery, you might even ask somebody if they won the lottery, if they're even playing it. If you won the lottery, what would you do? And even some people are stumped by that. You don't even know what you do if you won the lottery. Why don't you know? Right? Now I laugh because I'm teaching the people, you should know. Or if you're building a business, building monetary things, or you should know what you want in your life in all 4 domains. So if you want to write them down, it's health, your health. Where do you want to be in your health 3 years from now? We'll cover this a little bit later as well. Where do you want to be in your relationships? What do you want your relationships to look like? You want a new relationship, right? Career. What do you want your career to look like? Do you want a new career? Do you want to expand on the career that you have? The business that you're in with, like Jamie. I just want to expand. And she did that very quickly, right? Time and money freedom. Time and money freedom is huge. Now, why is that important? There's a lot of people that have time, they don't have any money. There's a lot of people that have money, they don't have any time. So we leverage that. And I've had the privilege, people say, well, Jamie, we're talking about people that are having a tough time. I can help. I can have them change things very quickly. But I have millionaires in my practice. There's 5 in my list right now. Why would a millionaire be working with a life coach? They want something to change in their lives. They want an outside view. How do I expand? How do I go? How do I exit? I've worked so hard building a business, but my wife and I don't talk very much. Okay, let's fix that. Right? So there's many reasons why people would come to work for me or work with me, right? So what I do in short is I help people create the lives they would love living in a very short period of time. And we'll go over that in a few minutes. So I've told you a bit about me. Now, my why. One of the things that you're going to want to have is a why. Why are you doing the things that you want to do? Why is this dream so important to you? Well, mine is my family. This has become a gift for me. So I want to give this gift to the world. I want to help people. It's my passion. I wake up excited every morning, right? Doesn't matter what's going on around me, circumstances like Jamie was talking about. I'm excited. Who's coming to me today? Who do I get to help today? But your why is so important, right? If any of you ever heard of Jim Rohn, he was a great speaker and teacher many years ago. He used to be called the grandfather of transformation before Bob Proctor. And Bob Proctor said there was 2 most important reasons of life. And one was the day you were born. And other people say, what's the other one? Death? No. The day you were born and the day you found out why. It's important. And so we want to connect to our why. And you could be a janitor and that be your why. It should be the cleanest bathroom or cleanest place you ever walk in and out of if you're the janitor. We're not talking about, having to build skyscrapers. What is your dream? What are you excited about in life, right? So some people say, well, Rob, I do have dreams. And some of you here do, probably, I'm sure, right? Some of you might say, well, Rob, I do have dreams, but I don't know how to get there. Well, how do I get there? Well, that's a great question. Well, I got another secret for you. You don't have to know how. You have to know what. Now, when I first learned that was foreign to me. I didn't understand it. How am I going to get somewhere? How am I going to achieve something? How am I going to have what I want if I don't know how to get it? It's a pretty good question, right? Well, I soon learned shortly after that, and I'm teaching you all. You don't have to know how you're going to get somewhere, how you're going to have something. You have to know what. When you are clear on what you want, the how will come. Really clear. Martin Luther King said, just take a step. You'll be shown the next step. You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take a step. So he said it in many different ways, right? He wanted no part of teaching and speaking and leading the group that they were leading when he was doing the speaking and teaching. He was young. He wanted no part of it. But when he was called to action, he took it, and he took it big. And he did great work, as we know. Right. So you have to know what you want. And we're going to talk about that. What do you want in your health? What do you want in your relationships? What do you want in your career? What do you want in your time and money freedom? It's not going to just happen. So I don't tell you that to scare you or upset you. You might be thrown a bone from God, universe, whatever you call it. It doesn't just happen. I work with couples. I'll be working with them with a couple of weeks. As well, he doesn't make me happy anymore. She doesn't make me happy anywhere. Well, you shouldn't be giving somebody else that job. Happiness is upon you. Happiness is generated from within. Right. So I'm working with them a couple of weeks. I said, oh yeah, you talked about enhancing your relationship, showing some more love, getting more, in love again. What did you do this week? So I'm sitting with them. I'm doing like we're doing here. What did you do this week to change it up, to do things different? They look at me like a deer in headlights. What do you mean? What are you talking about? Well, what did you do different? Well, we didn't do anything different. Oh, you didn't do anything different, but you expected change. I mean, right? What's the definition of insanity? The new definition. Anybody know it? I'm sure you've heard it. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting change, expecting a different result. Right? Nothing changes if nothing changes. That's one of Wayne Dyer's. A great one. Even a greater one of his was change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. So what is that? Perception. You might be looking at things or looking at people in your life that bother you, but if you change your perception around that, they won't bother you so much. Well, what do you mean? They're the same people bothering me. You get to choose. It's so powerful when you know that. If you just did that, another one that he had, I'll just share it with you. You'll love, I know Jamie does. What other people say or think about me is none of my business. What other people say or think about me is none of my business. You just write that down and apply that to your life after today, your life will change. Just do the one thing. We're going to ask you to do more things, but just do one thing, that one thing. When I got that in my head, nobody moves me. Nobody bothers me. I don't care what they're saying to me. They're the ones with the issue. They're being, we talked about it, Jamie, unskillful. They're the ones that are unskillful. If someone is being unskillful in my presence, why do I have to react to it? I don't. More good news for you. You can take care of you, stay in your energy, stay in your frequency, no matter what the other person's doing. How great is that? That's liberating, right? Fun stuff. Man, I haven't even opened my booklet yet here, so we're getting rolling, right? So how do we manifest, right? We talk about the law of attraction, your thoughts and your words. You truly are a co-creator. Now, some people will knock religions because religions got very, I don't know how do you say it, indoctrinated. The way it was taught, it put it down. You do this or else. And a lot of churches, if you're in the Buffalo area, you'll see a lot of churches have closed. There's reasons for that. People aren't tired of being treated in that way. Doesn't mean that religion isn't great. Really, what I came to believe is they weren't teaching what Jesus taught. There was condemnation, judgment, and so on and so forth, right? And Jesus didn't teach that. So how do we manifest to our thoughts and our words? So if you were to go to religious instruction, it says in there, right? As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Or so shall he be, depending on the text you read. What does that mean? As a man thinketh in his heart. Heart means feeling. If you think about something long and hard enough with feeling, right, with heart, you become it. So is he. So shall he be. You become it. So what are you thinking about all day long? Jamie knows I ask it. I'll even send a text. What seeds are you planting today? Because if you're planting seeds of something you don't want, plan on getting a harvest of stuff you don't want. We are planting seeds all day long. What you sow, you reap. There's another one for you. So some people would say, well, the secret and the law of attraction is blasphemy. It's against religion. No, Jesus spoke it all the time. Believe in the things unseen as if they were seen. He was one of our great teachers, right? And we just didn't get it. We didn't understand it. So law of attraction, I want to break down law of attraction for you. When you think about the law of attraction, you think, well, nobody ever asked me this, which is kind of funny. Why do they call it a law? And one person asked me, why do they call it a law? Well, because it's a law. Well, can you explain more? Well, all of you, I don't know where you are. It looks like you're in some buildings, apartments, whatever it may be, offices, right? You know about the law of gravity, right? We learned it very young. You know about and let me ask you this. Do you play? Do you mess with the law of gravity? No, right? You understand the law of gravity. If you step off the building you're in, what's going to happen to you? If anybody's on mic, you can yell it out. What's going to happen to you if you step off a building? You're going to hit the ground, right? You're going to hit the ground. Well, law of attraction is the same. The law of gravity works for you every day, all day long. The law of attraction works for you every day, for everyone, all day long. And I've had people say to me, but coach, but Rob, I loved your presentation. I love that meeting we had. My sister told me to come to you. I've had the strategy session. I get what you're saying. I understand it, but law of attraction doesn't work for me. That's not possible. It is not possible for a law not to work for you. If it's not working for you, you're doing it wrong. I had somebody say to me the other day, I hate Facebook. I hate Facebook. It's terrible. It's horrible. I hate Facebook. I said, well, what are you doing on there? And I said, and I think you're doing it wrong. And they said, well, what do you mean? I enjoy Facebook. I have clients all over the country and the world. I'm seeing kids grow up. I've seen them get puppies. I'm seeing them on vacations. But if I see something negative, even in the first word, I'm scroll. But people are in there and they're on it all day long. And you believe this, get away from it. Facebook is fine. If you're not enjoying it, you're doing it wrong. Get off of there. And then they're like, oh, wow, that's a great way to look at it. So the law of attraction is the same as the law of electricity, the law of gravity, the law of thermodynamics. It's a law. What you're feeling, what you're sending out, you're going to receive. You are a magnet. Your heart's a magnet. They've even said that. Whatever you're sending out, plan on receiving. So what do we want to be sending out? I want to be sending out my dream. I want to be sending out the pictures of a life I'd love living. That's what I'm sending out. I'm sending that out all day long. And when I'm not, I'm aware enough to notice, didn't want to plant that seed, right, Jane? Didn't want to plant that seed, and you catch yourself. So I teach people awareness. You catch yourself, you pull it back. You say, nope, not thinking that, not believing for that, right? So let's talk about beliefs. Let's talk about paradigms. Just raise your hands for those of you that I could see. How many of you have heard the word paradigm? Great. So Sherry, yep. Right. So paradigm, you're going to hear a lot more of it. So a lot of the new age teaching, a lot of people, even in church, people are talking about paradigm. Paradigm is just, and I'll give you my definition of it. You look it up and may not meet the same definition. A paradigm is just a way of thinking and believing that became a part of you. And it's running in you. Your subconscious is actually running it. So it's a belief that you've taken on as truth, and even some, and a lot that are not serving you. So a negative paradigm, negative thought, a negative way of being or believing, right? So what I help people do is change those beliefs. Let's pull those negative paradigms out of you, those negative ways of thinking and believing. Let's pull them out of you. Let's open them up. Let's talk about them, and let's replace them with something else. Right? That's what we need to do. So your subconscious, and I'll get to that in a minute. Well, actually, it's right here. Your subconscious, and write this down because people are like, I don't understand what you're saying. Your subconscious has no sense of humor, none. Your subconscious has no sense of humor. Now, what do I mean by that? Your conscious mind is in control. The majority of people you may know, or they call them masses, their conscious mind is not in control. They're in reaction mode. They're angry. They're in resentment. They're mad at the government. They're mad at whatever. They're not in control, right? But your conscious mind is the master, is the controller of your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind has no sense of humor. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is it believes everything you tell it. Whatever you allow. So you don't have two minds, you have one mind, but you have two spheres. So the conscious mind takes it in, you entertain it as truth, even a lie, and you embed it into your subconscious. Your subconscious takes it on as truth. And now that runs in you. You all may know somebody that tells a lie on a pretty regular basis. You actually there when the event took place, and they'll tell a lie and you'll go, wow, that's not true. But you'll see them telling it and you'll actually believe that they believe it's true. And if you tell them, well, that's not true, I was there. Those, yes, it is. They've told the story so many times, they've convinced themselves it's true. That's how powerful your subconscious is. So why do I tell you about the subconscious? I tell you about the subconscious for this very important reason. Whatever you tell your subconscious, it believes is true. So if you tell your subconscious, I'm in wonderful, great health because I'm doing this, this, and this, I have a beautiful husband, wife, partner, whatever it is, even if you don't have it, if you tell it you do, it will believe that you do. If there's a certain career or a certain area in your business that you want to grow, and you see it, you write it down and you read it and you believe for it, you get to the place of believing. So here's what happens. Your conscious is reading your vision and telling your subconscious every day. I tell Jamie, you know this, you read your vision every day. I read mine every morning and I have it running in me throughout my day. I'm reading my vision. I'm connected to the life I love living. I have a great life. I want a greater life. And I'm holding intention for that. And I'm reading it and I'm believing for it. As I'm doing that, it's being embedded into my subconscious and my subconscious takes it on as true. You following me here? It takes it on as true. And your subconscious is connected to source. Now you call it God, you call it infinite intelligence, universe. It doesn't matter. There's only one. There's more than one. The sky would be exploding right now as we're doing this, right? There's only one. So you embed into your subconscious the life you love living, the pictures. It will take it on its truth and it will send out the messages. Cherry is being this. I see some other names. Amanda is being this. Melissa is calling this in. Shaylee says this is happening in her life and she's loving it. You do that on a regular, continual basis, and whatever you need to bring that in will come to you. That's why you don't have to know how to do it. You have to know what. I can't stress more to all you folks. You have to know what you want. Get clear, get excited, sit down, journal, write. And we'll do a little bit at the end of this, right? I'll give you some more guidance on that. So how exciting, raise your hands. How exciting is that to know if you embed something into your subconscious on a regular, continual basis, you will actually be sent what you need to get there. How many of you think, wow, that's exciting? I'm still excited about it. Still, I wake up fired up about it every morning. It's liberating, right? Now, what's the opposite of that? Why are most people not living the lives they love? Oh man, I don't want to do that. We were just having fun. No, listen, why are they not? Well, they're not doing it right. So what are they doing? I got some lists here. People are focused on what they don't want. They're focused on what went wrong. They're focused on something that happened to them, something that somebody did to them. They'll come home from work and never believe what happened to me at work. Then they'll get on the phone and call 2 friends. You never believe what happened to me at work. What are you doing? Do you want more of that? Stop that. We don't want more of that. And again, now just so you all know, I was doing those things. I'm not in any way trying to make you wrong or bad. It's just not aware. And I've done those things in my life. I was not aware. I remember years ago many years ago, being involved before I started, being involved in gossip. I didn't realize it was gossip, but I didn't realize that gossip actually hurt me. So, stop doing it, right? Not that I ever was really big on it. So what are they doing? They're talking about what went wrong, what happened to them, something bad that happened to them. So now if you're in the vibration and the frequency of all that's bad, all that's gone wrong, all that's wrong with the United States, all that's wrong with the economy, all that's wrong with this person, all that's wrong, the blame, my parents, if you stay in that vibration, you're getting more of it. And I'm sorry to tell you that. But the good news is you can change it. You can change it. I have a friend of mine, I remember Bob Proctor, we were in a VIP meeting in California one time, and this person was carrying on about all the debt they have, and I can't get out of my own way, and how am I supposed to dream and get excited about my life when I have all this debt? And he says, well, what do you do about the debt? Well, I pray every morning. And Bob Proctor says, get off your knees, you're just making noise. That's tough. I watched that. I witnessed that. And he wasn't being mean. Bob was very loving. He was strong, but he was loving. And he says, you're just making noise. If you're praying, get out of debt, get out of debt, get out of debt, thinking about debt. Oh my God, I hate this debt. I got another bill today. Plan on more of it. That's tough. When I heard that was tough, when I was teaching one of my best friends of 50 years, he said to me, well, that's not my God. That's awful. That's terrible. I said, it's not. The universe has been designed in the way it's been designed. It's been designed to bring you what you think about. What you focus on expands. Another great one. What you focus on expands. If you hold something in your mind long enough, you will hold it in your hand. Even the bad. Universe doesn't know that that is bad. It just knows you keep talking about it. And if you keep talking about it, it's supposed to send you more. So, some of you, I could see you smiling, going, I see heads nodding. I mean, it's powerful, powerful stuff. When you know this, you can change it. And it becomes really, really fun. Right, Jane? I don't see Tim there, but yeah, it becomes really, really fun. Right? So that's how it's been designed. Now, some people say, well, I'm not this great creator. I'm not this this person you're talking about, this great person. And, I talk about a lot of the greats. I've studied them all, the Edisons, the Fords, Bill Gates is still alive, Steve Jobs. It doesn't matter who. I've studied so many of them. And that's why it became the secret. They all knew this stuff. Henry Ford was denied 50 times. There's not a bank that would help him do mass production. They wanted no part of him. They told him to get that darn thing off the road. You're scaring our horses. His wife was his only supporter. They cared nothing about what he was doing, but he believed and he was doing the thing. There was nothing going to stop him from doing the thing. When Walt Disney was building Disney way back in the day and the ideas around Disney and the Great Depression or recession, they told him it's never going to work. Do you know we're in a great recession? And he says, they're saying we're in a recession. I'm choosing not to participate. And he was sent home from school when he was young and they told him not to come back because he had no imagination. The Imagineer, if you will. Don't listen to what people outside of you are saying to you. Go after your dream. Decide you're doing it. Put a stake in the ground. I'm doing this thing. I want this. I want the love of my life. I want my business to expand. I want to help people, whatever you're doing. I want greater health. Well, you can do things to have greater health. And it comes with a decision. So where I was going with this is everything is created twice. You are a co-creator. Scriptural, or even all the greats have taught that. You are a co-creator. Now, what do I mean by that? Everything is created twice. Everything is created twice. Write it down. Everything is created twice. Right? The pen you're writing with, the glasses you're wearing, the room you're in, the curtains that are hanging from the window. I see curtains. I see some people wearing hats. Clothes, we're wearing clothes. The car you drove today. It was all a thought before it became a thing. The computer I'm on, looking at you all. Somebody thought that up. And the beauty of that is this computer came out of the ground, came out of the earth. Doesn't even seem possible. Your car came out of the ground. I mean, it's phenomenal. And you are a co-creator. Now, how do I know you're a co-creator? What I do know is you are not breathing yourself. And I know if you're hanging with Jamie, you know that already, but you know you're not breathing yourself. You cannot even make your heartbeat one time on your own or stop it. So if I told you all to stop your heartbeat 5 times, count to 5, and then start it up again and let me know when you've done that, you'll look at me like I'm nuts. I've had atheists in my group saying, what are you talking about? Claiming atheists. I said, well, you're not breathing yourself. You can call it whatever you want, but you don't breathe yourself. You're not making your heartbeat. You can't stop it and start it up again because you're not doing it. There's something greater than you doing it. And that greater thing that's doing it created you. And you and that source together can do anything you want to do. You can do, be, and have anything you want. If you believe. You must believe. Well, I don't believe. I believe you. I believe you've helped people. I know I've watched other people do it, but it wasn't for me. No. So your source, what you call your higher power, your God didn't point at all the people in the room and say, you, not you, Jamie, you, not you, Lauren. No, did not do that. The source that's breathing you wants you to have your dreams. And that brings me to another small teaching. I want you to think about desire. Desire, things you're desiring for. What is desire? Desire is day, sire. Day is of. Sire means father. Most people don't know that. Day sire is of father. So desire that's coming to you, the dreams that you want to have in your life come from whatever you call your father, your spirit. The ideas that you have to do something great don't come from you. They're not your ideas. They fall on you. And if they bring you life and you get excited about them, that's a match. You say, wow, thank you, Source, for that. And I know you're supporting me. And I'm so excited to take the steps and move forward. Right? So life gets really, really exciting. So you all understand that. So everything's created twice, including your dreams. How your dreams come to life is by you bringing them to life. And you bring them to life by thinking about them, writing about them. And then the last piece of alignment is taking action. So, and we've talked about this before, Jamie, you can read your vision every day. You can get excited about it. You could share it with your husband and your wife and whomever. You can, wow, man, I got this dream, right? And then go sit on your lazy boy. One of them could be, I want a brand new Mercedes coupe, right? Do all that, but I'm doing my vision. I'm reading it every day. I'm believing for it. And then you're going to sit on a lazy boy. It's not going to be pulled up in front of your picture window in front of your house. You're not going to see it pulled up. Unless grandma dies and hit a bunch of money and left it for you or something, it's not going to come. You must take action. And even the littlest piece, I should make a phone call. I should call this person. And some people don't build their businesses or their dreams because they're afraid. Well, you and what breeds you is bigger than anything you're facing. Do it. Do it afraid. If you want the thing, do it afraid. If you just take one little action, you'll be shown the next action. And just keep taking it. Before you know it, you'll be there and you'll say, wow, can you believe we got here? I know Jamie and Tim have said that a few times, but and you did it quickly. So very exciting. So we're not breathing ourselves. Keep that in mind. I already talked about, as a man thinking in his heart, so shall he be. Now I'm going to ask you a question. I may have mentioned it earlier. It's, I used to just ask this question. I was in a big lawyer's office, skyscraper downtown, top floor. I'm looking over the whole city, and there's a bunch of judges and lawyers in there. And I asked them this question, and they all went quiet. And but it's not a trick question. And I asked them, if you plant, and you can yell it out if you want. I can read your lips, or if some of you take your mic off. If you plant corn, what do you get?
Corn.
Oh, yes. Good job. You get the prize. Yeah, right, Sherry? It's funny, right? You plant corn, you get corn. So that's what I do. I ask my clients when I'm with them on a daily, regular basis, or my groups, or I'm speaking, or I'm just texting. Hey, what are you planting right now? Well, it's lunchtime. Just had an argument with the boss. Ooh, do you want to be planting that? No. Now, if you have to stand up for yourself, you have to, I'm not saying be meek or be weak and be a doormat to anybody. But there's things we're doing that we don't want to reap a harvest from. So we want to watch what seeds we're planting, right? So I'm going to ask you, if you can, for those of you that are in environments that are not making, where there's not noise, so whether it be dogs, cars, babies, we love babies. I have 4 grandbabies, but if there's noise, don't unmute yourself. But those of you that can, I want you to unmute yourself and I want you to yell out some things. I'm going to talk about some limiting beliefs, and I want you to finish the sentence on what I'm sharing with you here. Some of you may know them, some of you may not. So those of you that can, unmute yourselves. And Jamie, you can unmute yourself. Ready? And if you've muted them, maybe you can unmute them, Jamie. Ready? You have to know someone to get
something.
ahead.
Something.
There you go. It takes money to make.
Money.
Better safe than.
Sorry.
Oh, stereo. Can't teach an old dog new.
Tricks.
Don't bite off more than you can.
Chew.
Nice guys finish.
Last.
You can't have your cake and eat it.
Eat it too.
Make any sense, right? Money doesn't grow on trees. I just finished it for you. Money doesn't grow on. There's another one. Money is the root of all
Evil.
How do you know that? Waiting for the other shoe to.
Drop.
Full.
I've tried to look that up. I don't know where it came from. It's too good to be
True.
True.
So you all grew up on my street, in my home.
Mhm.
Find that's pretty amazing, huh?
The
Almost
same
every
street-
one of you's lips were moving, or I can hear people.
The
Go ahead,
same
somebody
street is existing in Croatia too, so I think those streets are everywhere.
Yes,
That's where I grew up.
paradigms. So what am I doing there? Paradigms. So from zero, and some of you know this, from 0 to 5 years old. Think about this. There are millions of bits of information that are being dropped down into your mind, dropped into your subconscious. You do not have what we call a conscious filter. You know, they have conscious, thinking about what people are saying to you, questioning what they're saying to you. Usually not till a good 4, 5, 6, 7 years old for some people. So you have millions of bits of information embedded into your brain that don't make sense, that aren't true. They're not true about you. They're not true about life. They're not true about money. They're not true about the country. And you have heard it so much and so often, you took them on as true. Now, it doesn't make your parents bad. It doesn't make them wrong. Your parents, coaches, teachers, community, friends, aunts, uncles. It doesn't make them bad and wrong. This has been passed down for generations. Bob Proctor used to say it was 5 generations. He was saying, I think it's 10 now. And across the world, which was, I don't know how you're saying your name. Adriana?
Adriana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said, hey, it was in my country too, right? So that's really, really clear. So what happens when you become 5, 6, 7 years old, you start fighting back or pushing back. So wait, I don't think that's true. Or, well, that ain't true about me, right? But not enough. It's all in there. It's all embedded in there. So you grow up believing these things. You say, well, they don't really hurt you. Well, let's take a guess. When I was growing up, I remember asking for $10 to join the AV club in 7th grade. I was 12 years old. And I asked my dad, and he was a wonderful dad. My parents were wonderful. I would come back to them if I could. They were wonderful, but we had our paradigms. And I said to him, can I borrow $10? You know, I'll work it off, wash cars, do whatever, but I need $10 for the AV club. They're getting me a badge and all this stuff. And he turned to me and he said, what are we, the Rockefellers? Wow, we got to be the Rockefellers for me to have $10? And my mother used to say it a lot. What do you think money grows on trees? Now, so what is the downside of that? If you grow up being people that heard, what does money grow on trees? Money doesn't grow on trees, unless you're growing a large orchard of oranges and things. But, right? It doesn't grow on trees. But what gets embedded? Money is hard.
Yeah.
Every time you hear that, you hear money is hard. Money is the root of all evil. That is not even a true statement. Love of money is the root of all evil. And the precursor to that is that all you want. You don't take care of your family, your friends. You don't care about anything but making more money, piling it up, being a hermit. You care about nothing. That's the love of money. Money is not the root of all evil. Without money, we don't eat. The majority of people have great gifts to bring to the world, and they cannot bring it to the world because they don't have enough money to do so. They're working so hard to put food on the table, they can't bring their gifts to the world. They can't do the things they want to do. And money is just energy. So money is important. And so we grew up with those things. So now I'm going to read some more to you. I'm going to read to you. I'm not going to have you finish the sentences, but I'm going to read to you some magazine covers. And this is what we're getting bombarded with. And I know, Jamie, we talk about do not watch the news, and I know you don't. Well, you got to be informed. You'll get informed of whatever you need, but you don't have to be inundated. So I'm going to read some Time magazine covers to you. World money crisis. Oh, right. What's wrong with U.S. medicine? Inefficiency in America. Why nothing seems to work anymore. These are titles on one of the top magazines, right? Battle of the economy. Is the U.S. going broke? Now the bank crisis, right? Is the U.S. going broke? Wars across the world and in the Middle East. The big freeze, right? The green space. The big United States, the big headache. We're still in an energy mess. I mean, these are titles, right? How do we doctor the economy? What is going to work? It's fear. It's fear-based. Most of this country's in fear.
Yeah.
Why? That's all they hear all day long. If they can get you to come back and watch the news tomorrow, because you got to know what happened, right? Guess when these magazines are from? Yell it out, anybody.
This year?
Recently and earlier. Within the
I was
last
gonna
5
say
years.
mid-2000s.
Yeah, 1970.
Oh.
Sherry, I see your mouth open up there. 1970. We're still doing it. We're still doing it. What you think about, what you talk about expands. That's been the nomenclature. That's been the conversation in this country for years. The war on drugs did not work. The war on terrorism did not work. It was a war. Wars do not work. So we're thinking wrong. We're not thinking correctly, and we can think correctly, even in the midst of the circumstances or in tough situations that we're seeing, the true things that are happening in the news, you could still have a great life. People are arguing, carrying on about politics. When we go into election, my phone rings off the wall. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're for or against whomever. It just, I almost can't keep up at times. And I'm like, listen, go and create your life. My parents, grandparents, aunts, and uncles created whatever they wanted to create. And it didn't matter who was president, unless they become a dictator. And that's not going to happen in this country. And if it does, I'll be out there fighting with you. This is not, it's not something, go build your dreams. You live in the greatest land in the world. Go build your dreams. You don't have to be afraid to build and create, right? Now, I want you to think of paradigms in another. Are we okay on time, Jamie? Okay. So I want you to think of an elephant. So what a segue, right? I want you to think about an elephant. Some of you may have seen this. Think about an elephant, their newborn baby. A newborn baby elephant is being taught to stay in its place, in its home, in his little garden, wherever it is. And you're going to see a large stake in the ground and this huge chain you could pull a car with attached to their leg. And every time that little baby elephant, is walking along, doing whatever, and pulls on that chain, it stops. Pulls, stops, pulls, stops. Now it's embedded, right? As the elephant is getting older, they tie a rope. They remove the chain and they tie a rope to the leg. Now it's full grown. What, 2, 3, 5,000 pounds? They tie river reeds to its leg. You seen river reeds along the river? Weeds, long weeds. They tie them together and they put them around the elephant. An elephant can break that by just a simple move. They tie it around it. They tie it around his leg. He feels the tug of that. He stops moving. Right here. You have blocks in you. You've stopped moving. You're stopped doing things that you want to do and create. There's blocks. You see the picture? I've seen it go around Facebook a lot. Any of you seen the picture of the horse tied to a plastic blue chair? You know, they tie the rope to a chair and it's out in the wide open. It's not tied to anything but the chair, and the horse just stays there. It was trained to do that. It pulls on the chair. It doesn't move. It's not going to move. It's so powerful. You have those same paradigms. And what Jamie's talking about, Jamie and Tim released them. And we're still working on them. I am too. I don't do this perfectly. I want to give you that. I don't do this perfectly, but I do it really, really well. And I do it regularly, right? So that's river reed thinking, right? So the good news is we talk about, if you don't like something you're seeing in your lives, you don't like the way you look, you want to release weight. I'm on high blood pressure medicine, and if I do this and that, maybe I don't have to be on it, diabetes medication, whatever it is. I don't like my job. I wish I had a new one. I want to start my own business. If you have something in your life that you're not liking, anything that you're not liking in your life, it changes with your thoughts. Find something in that area of your life you're not liking. Find something about it that you do like. I have people that hate their jobs. They've moved on, but I've had people that hate their jobs. What do you like about your job? One woman says, well, I have a window. Let's start there. I'm one of the only ones that have a window. Oh, this is Pollyannish. No, it's not Pollyannish. She says, this particular woman I'm talking about says, I'm going to die here. I don't have enough money to retire. I'm almost old enough. I want to retire. I hate it here. I'm going to die here. She started working with me. I hooked her up with a financial advisor. The financial advisor found her more money than she knew she had. There was money hiding in places. Then she didn't have enough hospitalization coverage, insurance coverage. Found somebody. I hooked her up with somebody on that. The woman retired a year and a half later last June. And I don't know if we didn't meet, was she going to die there? I don't know. But she was saying, I'm going to die here. And we changed it that fast. So it's about your blocks. It's about your thinking. So what are the blocks? Good question, Shaylee. No, right? What are the blocks? Fear. We've talked about it. Fear is a block. Low sense of deserving. People will tell me, I was told I wasn't good enough. I'll never be good enough. I'm not smart enough to be that, to do that. Oh, baloney. If you have a conscious mind and you're mentally and physically healthy, you can do whatever you want to do. Right? Low sense of deserving, not feeling deserving enough. Or I work with people from prisons. I've worked for people, what I did, I will never be forgiven. I'll never be able to do well. Nope. They've gone on and done well. I've had women, I've had some men that had some tough situations with abuse, but I've had women raped, sodomized, you name it. And I'm sorry to bring that up here. And they've been told it's going to take you years to move through that. My sister told me, she's crying, this last girl, my sister told me to call you because my therapist told me it's going to take me 4 to 5 years. And I'm like, well, you can do that, or we can get started now. You don't have to take 4 or 5 years to go through a trauma, and you don't have to hold it and take it to your grave. At least the energy that it brings. You'll hold the memory maybe, but you don't have to hold the energy that it brings. And I started working with that girl, and it's already been released. It's already released. She's going to go on and have a great life. So it's not about me. It's about them showing up and applying what they're learning, right? What are some more blocks? Feelings of lack, scarcity, limitation. Never goes my way. I knew this was going to happen. Just my luck. Do y'all know people like that? And if you're like that, I'm not picking on you, but we all know people that are doing that. Do you ever notice the next time you see them, if you don't run from them, the next time you see them, they're telling the same story? Something else hurts, something else is wrong. They're mad about something else. Well, they're creating it. And if you're friendly enough, you could tell them, you got to stop doing this because tomorrow you're going to get the same thing.
Yeah.
You got to change it, right? Resentment, unforgiveness. Jamie hit on it. She came to Buffalo, had some forgivenesses to do, is the way you explained the story to me, or Buffalo, wherever you went, you got on a plane, said, I'm going to do it now. That was her action step. She went and did some forgiveness work, came back, and she said the floodgates opened, her business exploded, and just her life completely exploded. Their resentment and the unforgiveness was blocking good that's trying to get to her. I'm telling you, folks, if you have resentment and unforgiveness, even 1% in your heart, you are blocking good that's trying to get to you.
I have a question.
Yes.
So if we've had resentment towards like an ex in the past or a friend that betrayed you or any of that, how do you go about forgiving that person and healing your heart? And, because as much as it feels like it's still new,
yes,
sometimes it's hard. So how
every time you think of it, it's redone. You're reliving it.
So how do you move past it?
The first piece is, and we get into another hour on this, but the first, as Jamie knows, the first thing is to understand that forgiveness is not for them. You don't have to go to them. You don't have to tell them forgiveness. You don't have to ask for forgiveness. It's not for them. The forgiveness is to release the negative energy from the event and the situation that's in your heart. Right.
So is that just by believing it yourself that you've forgiven this person?
Feeling a feeling of it, yes. So saying the words, I forgive you for whatever it is, the harm they did, whatever the event was, right? You can picture them. You could sit across a chair from them. You can write out a letter, put it in a bowl and burn it. But releasing, and you might have to do it more than once. We learn to walk one step at a time. Forgiveness sometimes can take a little bit of time, but it doesn't have to be an evolutionary process. It doesn't have to take forever. It could be immediate. That's it. I'm not carrying this anymore. I'm setting this down. That person that hurt you, you're still carrying it. They may not even care or even remember. yet you're still carrying it. It's blocking you. It's blocking love. Goodness is trying to get to you. So it's the release of it. It's setting down. You wouldn't, what I tell people is, say a lot of you probably traveled here, right? I just got back from Florida, had a big luggage. You wouldn't carry a big luggage on your back everywhere you go. You go for a drink of water, you go walk the grandkid, you go on a ride in the amusement park. You wouldn't have a big luggage on your back. You wouldn't carry it. That's what you're doing. Set it down. Right? It's I don't know if that answers your question. You can ask me more if you want, Eris. Yeah. It's not for them, it's for you. The old wives' tales or the old Chinese tales, it's proverbs, what do you want to call it? It's holding a piece of coal in your hand and expecting the other person to get burned. When you're having resentment and unforgiveness, you are drinking poison and expecting the other person to die from it.
Mm-hmm. I have heard that term. Yeah.
It's hurting you. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay. And again, in my programs, which I'll talk about later, there was 2 weeks on forgiveness. Eris, I love that name, by the way. I think I told you that. We really open that up. And it's not for them, it's for you. Release, be happy. They're stealing your joy. They're taking your power away. So you mentioned an ex. Was it an ex? Was one of the situations?
Both of these things, it was like a friend and an ex.
Yeah.
Basically betrayal type situation. And it's not that I'm still super bothered by it, but I feel like I haven't fully let it go. So maybe it could be blocking me. It's like something I've just never
all of you watching
forgiven.
Yeah. So all of you watching, just decide. See, we think it has to be this long evolutionary process. Oh, I hope I forgive them someday. Your mother or someone says, man, why don't you forgive them? Yeah, maybe someday. No, now. Wouldn't now be a great time to do that? Now. I'm setting this down now. I'm free. Free yourself. You can do it. And if tomorrow or down the road you get hit with it, and you hit with the memory and you still feel some negative energy, free it again. Get to the place where it only brings memory.
Is there any other way besides writing and visualizing you can suggest? Because I'm literally going through the same thing right now.
Writing and visualizing what?
The forgiveness to the person that has betrayed you. And I mean, my husband in 12 years, I just found out that, he cheated and we're done, literally a week and a half ago.
Okay.
And
yes.
So how can I really,
well, right now it's fresh.
I'm
okay.
angry. I'm resentful.
Yes.
I want to burn shit. So how do I help myself?
Yeah. Take the keys to the car. We're gonna pull out Carrie Underwood, right? So here, listen. You got to go through the process, Adriana. You're gonna have the pain.
I've had the pain. I've grieved. I've bargained. I'm at the anger stage right now. That's not serving me, and I'm allowing myself this anger to release, not to, internalize it.
Good.
But it does not feel good. I don't want it. And I fully understand that it's hurting me. It's hurting me because I don't feel good feeling what I'm feeling.
That's a great awareness, right? And being what you've gone through, that's expected, right? And there's nothing wrong with you feeling that. But how you move through it. So are you going to get back together? Are you rekindling? Are you talking about? Okay.
No, this is dead as dead comes. I'm grateful. I'm grateful because I saw myself chained up and not being able to elevate myself to the limitless state that I know I always was possible. I always knew I have.
There you go. There you go.
And I know that he did me a favor, and I
love that.
For that, I'm grateful for that. But I keep on repeating that, but then I get into these stages where I see him and I just want to fucking punch him. Excuse my language.
Yeah, I get it. So keep repeating it. You're going to have the feelings of wanting to effing punch him, right? it's okay. It doesn't make you wrong or bad, but keep repeating what you just did. That is great work, actually. That is amazing.
Thank you.
Most people I meet cannot do that. So good job on you on that, right? Then what we're talking about is going into the vision. What would you love? Now you say, well, I don't want anybody right now after going through that. Well, maybe you do, right? Maybe, but you're going to want something different. You're going to want someone different. You're going to want something great. And if you don't want that in your life in the moment, put your focus and your vision, your strength and your power into the parts of your life that you can expand and grow on.
Business.
Yes, business. So Bob Proctor had a woman, she runs the Unstoppable Foundation. Her name isn't coming to me in the moment. Beautiful woman. And she was dire straight. She came home and found her best friend with her husband. Crushed her, destroyed her. She got with Bob Proctor, and Bob Proctor said to her, she said, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And Bob Proctor says, well, you got to do something more than your anger. And she says, well, I always thought of helping people in Kenya. I wanted to build a village in Kenya. It's like $75,000 or $25,000, and they get food, they get water. We teach them how they get medicine. There's a little schoolhouse, and it's not that much money. And I've always wanted to do something like that. And he said, well, go do something like that. She said, I don't think it'll be enough. He said, well, how many of those houses would it take? She goes, oh, probably 100. She's over 100 now. She put so much life and energy into building that and helping others that she became free. And she's been in a happy marriage since. I mean, this was happened a number of years ago. She put her focus, she took her anger and put it into and used it as fuel.
Okay.
You can do that.
I have something to ask after too.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, we're gonna have question and answers afterwards too, but go ahead.
Well, just to kind of touch on those two stories, because I've also, it seems like we're all going through the same thing. Sorry, I'm just getting over a cold. So you know how they say like people who haven't healed from something, they just keep going, and like it's almost like you've convinced yourself that you've healed from something, but then maybe you'll have an off day and you'll just like it'll really hit you again, like even if it's months later. I feel like that's kind of my situation. Like it's not something that necessarily I've been thinking about constantly and like bringing and attracting that kind of energy, but I feel like I didn't fully process it in that moment, and I just kept going and pretending that things were okay. So back to how you said earlier about how there's like two parts of the mind.
Yes.
How do you know if like your subconscious mind is actually believing that you have healed from something? Does that make sense?
Well, you'll know that you already know that you don't have to even ask your subconscious mind. You already know that you haven't healed because you're feeling the pings of it. So when you're in a situation where you feel constriction or contraction, when you think about somebody or someone comes up on your phone and there's constriction or contraction, you haven't healed, even if it's a little bit. So you don't even have to get conscious and subconscious involved. I mean, even though they're working, it's release.
Right.
Just release it. Again, conversations, a chair across from another chair, writing it in a bowl. I am releasing this. I'm releasing the pain from this. I am freeing myself.
When I just have one last question. So when you really like forgive somebody, do you recommend that you never bring whatever you're forgiving them for, you never bring it up again?
Well,
like, you know how like couples argue and then
you should never bring it up again.
Yeah. Okay.
Never.
Thank you.
I do a whole couples teaching too on that. There's no hitting below the belt. There's no you should have, you could have, why didn't you, remember when? None of it. It will do nothing. It will do nothing for you. Nothing for you in your marriage or your partnership. It will do nothing. You remember the time we call that hitting below the belt.
I'm glad I asked. Thank you.
Yeah. And again, we can get into more of that. So we talked about the limiting beliefs. The last one I had was the blocks was they don't know how. And we covered that earlier. You don't have to know how. You got to get clear on the what. Okay. Now, so one of the quotes that I love is by Albert Einstein, and I know you've heard this. Jamie, how are we doing?
we're good. I think maybe wrapping it up by 8 would be
Okay.
good.
Yeah. Okay. Because I know you said an hour, but we seem to be enjoying ourselves. So
Yeah,
stay
yeah.
on if you have to. If you say, hey, Jamie, this was only supposed to be an hour. If you have to go, it's not disrespectful. We understand. But we're having fun. Some of it's not so fun, but hey, it will be once you release it, right? So the real truth, right? So Albert Einstein. Now think about Albert Einstein. You all know him, right? He's been gone 50 years. He's still the top 10, one of the top 10 highest recorded IQs in history. And he said these words. Energy, he says, everything is energy. That's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. You can match the frequency of being free from the pain of the unforgiveness. I'm free from this person. I'm free from that hurt. Match the frequency of that. I feel good. Heal yourself, right? Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. What does that mean? Match the frequency of the reality you want. The frequency is your vibration. What you're thinking, the words you're using, that's your frequency. Match your thoughts. Frequency is your thoughts. Match your thoughts to the reality you want. The reality you want is your dream life. So match the reality, right? Match the frequency to the reality you want, and you cannot help but get it. He says, you cannot help but get it. And this is not philosophy, this is physics. So what is he saying here? He's saying this is how it works, folks. And people say, hey, you can wave it off. You can call it woo-woo. Hey, the greats knew this stuff. I'm following them. Wayne Dyer said another great thing. If you want to find out what to do in life and where to go in life, don't follow the masses. Go the other way. I mean, it's, and it's not to insult anybody. It's just people that are not, the Buddhists would say not awake. People that are not awake are not aware. Right? So I'm going to get into a little exercise here that I told Jamie about. And so we have about 18 minutes. I think we can do it. And we got into so much stuff. We got into some questions. So testimonials, people that work with me. I think Jamie and Timmy are good enough. But again, I've worked with CEOs. I work with entrepreneurs all the time. I've worked with people poor. I've worked with people rich, people hurting. I've worked with families. The fun that I've had with families is unbelievable. The family dynamic, the things that change within a family dynamic is just, it's palpable. You'd be like, I can't believe this. I had a guy that came to me and said, my brother told me to call you and talk to you. Maybe you could help me. I'm looking like I'm needing a divorce. My wife lost her job a couple of years ago. She moved into depression. She's angry all the time, doesn't get out of bed, isn't helping. I'm raising 4 kids pretty much on my own. I own 2 businesses. I'm going crazy. I'm looking for a divorce. And I said, what if we could look at things differently? What if we could do things differently? And I helped him. Never met her, never met her kids, never met his kids. And I helped him look at things differently, do things differently, show up in the house differently, work on his healing, work on his stuff. And after a couple of months, she said, what are you doing? She did the when Harry met Sally thing. I'll have what you're having. What are you doing? I want some of that. She came on and worked with me. The entire family has changed. 3 kids work with me. The 4th kid is working with me at the end of the senior year. She's in senior year. She's going to come on and work with me. But the 4th kid that I've never met, never worked with, she puts the family in line. So when someone's doing or saying something they don't want to have happen in their lives, and they don't want more of, she'll go, oh. She'll have her phone in her hand like most kids do, and well, all of us. Do you need me to call Rob? Oh, or she'll say, oh, if Rob could see you now. Now, she's not doing that to pick on them or be mean to her family members, but they're waking, they all do it now. And they tell me, it's when I first, I don't know if I like that, but now I have a lot of families doing it. They're waking each other up. Are you sure you want to say those words? Are you sure you want to attract more of what you're complaining about? Are you sure you want to be in this energy? Haven't even met her. And they say, she's so cute when she does it. Oh, do you need me to talk to Rob? So those are the kind of things that can happen with people that I've worked with. Salespeople doubled and tripled their income. Jamie's a testament to that. I work with realtors all over the country. If any of you are realtors or know realtors, there are realtors sitting in one office, 8 or 10 of them, 20 of them. The average realtor in Buffalo sells 4.2 homes a year. That's the average. The realtors I work with, they sell 40 homes a year. There's a difference. And the only difference between the two of them is the way that they think. Now, the way that they show up. So that's just, little testimonies I like to throw at everybody. So now we're going to do the dream exercise. So let's do this. We're going to go 4 minutes. Can you time it, Jamie, for me? 4 minutes. And what I want you to do, if you feel comfortable where you're at, and if you can, I want you to close your eyes as I'm speaking to this. And what I want you to do is I want you to think about your dream life, your vision. All right. So here we go. I want you to think about your health. So your eyes are closed and you're thinking about your health. Is your health where you want it to be? Do you want something greater in your health? We don't want to lose weight because when we lose things, our subconscious will try to find them. Maybe you want to release weight. So where do you want to be in 3 years with your health? Well, I'm dynamic, vital, vibrant, lucid. I move freely, right? How do you feel in your body? Are there things you could be doing that can help change that, make you feel greater? Where do you want to see your health? What activities are you engaging in? I have people tell me, well, I used to do this, but I can't do it anymore. My leg hurts. Okay. Maybe your leg doesn't hurt anymore. So what can you do, right? So your health, what do you eat? What are you eating? What are you putting into your body? What are you doing? 3 years from now, if you're having optimal, abundant health, what are you doing? Think about that. So next minute, we'll go on to relationships. How are your relationships? How do you want them to be 3 years from now? Again, you usually condense it into a year or less. How do you want them to be? Are they loving, kind? It's parents, kids, partners. Do you have a partner? If you don't have a partner, do you want one? What does he or she look like? What are you doing together? What kind of fun are you having? And how do you talk to one another? Right? You paint the picture of what you want. Well, I had one woman say, well, I want a man that knows how to argue. Ooh, I don't want someone that knows how to argue. I don't want someone that's good at that. I want someone that knows how to have an adult discussion, a conversation. So what do you want in your relationships? Get clear on that. Financial freedom. How much, if you're having financial freedom now, we're being grateful for it. How much more do you want? Somebody say, if I made $5,000 a month, I'd be living great. If I made $10,000 a month, we'd be rich because I don't have any debts. Whatever it is for you. Well, I want to make $100,000 a month. I have people, I want to make $1 million a month. Whatever it is for you. What is in 3 years from now, what do you call financial freedom? What are you doing with your career? How much money are you earning? May not be the career you have now, but what are you doing? Now you've moved to the fear, you're going to go get the lessons or the classes or the certifications or whatever the degrees to go do it, be what you want to do, be and have. You get to do that. It's here for you, right? So time and money freedom. So now you have the love of your life. Your relationships are great. You're strengthening them and getting along with people. You have great health. You're agile. You're doing fun things. And now you have time and money freedom. You have the money. You've earned the money you said you wanted to earn. What are you doing with the money? Are you giving to your favorite charity? Have you bought the dream car you've always wanted? Are you going on trips? Are you helping out mom and dad? I just had a client pay off their parents' house. Think about that. I mean, they didn't want it. They pushed back, but you did it anyway. Right? Well, that can't happen for me. Okay, have it your way. There's no can't. So that's the quietness, your health, right? Your relationships, your career, your time and money freedom. What would you love? That is the main question you want to write. What would you love? So time is up. So let's bring it in. Now we're going to go 5 more minutes. And you don't have to speak it out, but you're going to go 5 more minutes. And what I want you to do is let's do 4 minutes. Just write bullets that'll remind you. Write it down. Everything you were just visualizing while your eyes were closed, now write it down. So start with health. My health is this. And it's I am. It's always I am. I am so happy and grateful now that my health is this. I'm so happy and grateful I have the love of my life. My partner and I, we were roommates. And now we're more in love than we've ever been. Not mine. I'm just talking about people saying that. We don't just love each other. We are in love. You know, relationships with my kids. I've been estranged with my mother and father. I want that to change. 3 years from now, that changes. I have a wonderful relationship with my daughter I haven't seen in years. Now, if they don't reciprocate or answer the call when you call them, that's different. But if you want something in your life, you got to move. You got to take action, right? And then career. I am the person that's doing this. You all won't believe this. When I started doing this work, I was nervous. My legs would shake. I stuttered. But I wanted to do it so bad, I did it anyway. Now you can ask me to speak anywhere at any time on a drop of a dime. I don't even need a list. I'll just write some bullets and I'll go and speak. That doesn't make me great. It just makes, I wanted to do this. What do you want to do? If you're working with Jamie, you know, the work that you do you want to expand on that? I want to earn this and this. Well, what do you need to do? Well, the beauty about Jamie's work is there's people doing what you want to do. You call them upline, right? You have examples of people doing exactly what you want to do. Just do what they're doing. Drop the blocks and go after it. I'm doing this thing. So that's career, right? Financial freedom, time and money freedom. Man, I would love a new car. I would love to go on a trip. I've always wanted to go to Italy. My mom died of cancer. I want to give to the Cancer Foundation, whatever it is for you. You know, I want my kids to have nice clothes. I don't like the way I dress them. And I'm not saying that's anybody here, but these are the things that I've heard in my life. It's your dream. You create it. You're going to create a life anyway. I heard these words from my mentor when I first started with her, and she said, you create life by design or by default? And I'm like, what does that mean? She says, well, if you're not creating by design, you are creating by default. Well, I didn't like hearing that. Because you know why I didn't like hearing that? Because I was creating by default. I did not have a vision. I did not have a dream for my life. If you go up and talk to anybody that you would consider successful, I mean, not wildly successful, but just successful in life, they're going to tell you they have a vision board. They've read Think and Grow Rich. They've done things to get them focused on where they wanted to be, or at least they had a real clear picture of they were doing the thing. They wouldn't have got there otherwise. And the thing that I tell people is, if you don't believe it, if you don't believe all the things we've talked about and believe it, you know, I know you believe it resonates with you what I've talked about. I'm talking about truth here. But if you don't believe that, you can believe in my belief. There were times I didn't believe, and Mary'd say, just believe in my belief. How many times I tell you that, Jamie? Believe in my belief. This is how it works. It only works its way. I could teach you that. I can teach you how that works. So does everybody have a clear idea and have some notes written down of the life you'd love living? Is everybody? All right. Okay. Now, Jamie said she was going to reach out to a couple of you. I don't know if she had the opportunity to. Is there anybody here that feels, well, we might say bold enough, but just feels powerful enough to say, this is what I would love? Does anybody want to share those bullets in those domains that we talked about? Anybody?
I told Eris she had to do it.
You did ask Eris. Yeah, she had to do it. Yeah. So Eris, so you start with, I'm so happy and grateful now that, and just speak it. So we're all listening and we're holding it for you.
So you want me to speak it as if it's already happened?
Yes. Yes. Every day. But now today. Yes.
Okay. I have everything that I desire. My health and my family's health is thriving.
Nice.
I'm manifesting my dreams. I'm applying myself in the ways that I hope I can increasingly improve myself with all aspects, whether it be as a mom, in my career, with just helping others in general, just kind of tapping into my own intuition and let me see what else. I wrote some notes.
Yeah, you can read it too. Yeah. So some material things, give us some pictures. You have everything you want.
Oh, if we want to talk material, I'd love to share with everybody this experience within the last day. So as Jamie knows, we're close friends, and she's been on my butt telling me, don't say it, don't even speak it. Like, take that thought and throw it away and change your perspective. And she's really, really helped me a lot within this past month. So I have been without a car for 2 months now. I've been walking my son to school. I've been walking to the grocery store. I've been saving my money, and I've been looking for a vehicle. So I went yesterday to a dealership, and they tried to sell me this car that's been crashed in the front and the back. They wouldn't show the Carfax. I was not about to be fooled. Wow. So even though I was bummed and I was trying to manifest getting a car yesterday, it didn't happen in the moment I wanted it to happen, but I kept putting it out there. I'm going to find a car that's, gets me from point A to point B. It's in my price range. I'm going to find something, right? Yeah. So I leave the dealership. I go get dinner with my kids. I'm looking on my phone, and my partner as well is helping me because I was so bummed. And we actually came across a vehicle that was exact price that I had. Basically, I was a little bit off, and I was able to talk to the guy, tell him my situation. I went there that night, test drove it, and got it this morning.
There you go. You called it in, is what we say. You called it in.
Yeah, I was calling it in, manifesting it to the best of my ability. I had Jamie rooting, and she was putting it out there for me, like, it's gonna happen. And it did. Works.
Well, great example, and thank you for sharing that, Harris. That's how it works. When I was a young boy, and I remember this so clearly, I was only 12, 15 years old, getting to that point, I'm going to drive someday. And I wanted a red sports car. And I noticed even at that age that, wow, it was really strange. Once I wanted this one particular red sports car, everywhere I went, they were. Mm-hmm. They were already there, folks. I didn't know they were there. I only noticed they were there because now I wanted one. So whatever you want, whatever you all have written down, whatever you want, it's available to you. When you said, I was hoping for a car, you don't have to hope for a car. It's already here. The money you want to make already exists. It's already here. You got to get connected to it.
Believing it.
Yes. You got to get connected to it.
Feeling like you have it in your fingertips.
Yes. Actually, act as if, we call it. Not they say fake it till you make it. I don't like that term. Not that it's bad or wrong, but act as if. Act as if you have the car. Act as if you have the greater relationship, or you've brought the partner in. That's what I did. My wife, I didn't tell you this. When I met my wife, after a time, because she thought it was weird to tell me, she was telling me her boys, she has 2 boys, my 2 bonus sons now. They thought she was nuts. She was setting a plate at the table for me. Haven't even met me. So she was bringing me in, I was bringing her in. And there's people outside of this room that you would go tell that to, and they'll tell you you're crazy. It's how it works. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. It's so clear. You can be, do, and have whatever you want to be, do, and have.
It's true, so you say, the quote, seek what's seeking you, or no?
Yes. Yeah. Seek what's seeking you. It's already seeking you. If you've thought it up, it's already coming to you. Even the bad stuff. If you're thinking about it on a regular basis, it's already on its way. On The Secret, Dr. Joe Vitale says, it's like opening a catalog and saying, I want this, I want this, I want this. Well, that's ridiculous. Well, you still have to take action. But it's a good indication of how it works. I want this. And it's not even I want, I have, I am. Wanting is putting it out there. Wanting means you don't have it. I am the person that's doing this. I am the person that has this. I am the person that's enjoying this. And I love my life. Man, as you're walking your kids to the school, I love my new car. And your friend goes, are you nuts? You don't have a car. So watch who you speak. This is like holding a baby, your newborn baby. You wouldn't let everybody hold it. Be careful with who you're sharing your dream with. Your dream is your baby. Share it with people like Jamie. Share it with people that you know will understand. Speak it into existence. You are a prophesier. Whatever you speak and think about on a regular, continual basis will come into your life. I'm that sure of it. So we'll end it with this. So Jamie said that I can invite you all. I know we've gone a long time and you've enjoyed it. So here's the deal. What I offer people when I do this is a 90-minute strategy session. So we've already done 90 minutes, another 90 minutes just with me, one-on-one, and it's free. Now, how do I have time? And people say, how do you do that? I just do. And I'm going to do it for as long as I can. 90 minutes where I'm talking about your biggest struggle and concern, the unforgiveness, the resentment. We're going to talk about your biggest struggle and concern. The first 30 minutes, the last hour, I'm going to help you build your vision. We're going to build it. We're going to speak it. We're going to meet each other. Man, I haven't seen you in 3 years. Tell me about your life. Oh, I got a new car. I got a new house. I helped my parents. I did whatever. 90 minutes and it's free. And at the end, I just simply make an offer. I don't do any pressure. I don't need to. Why? Jamie, do you know why I don't need to do any pressure? Why do you think? I know you know this. I put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Because it works? Yes. Because in the morning, thank you, God. Thank you, Source, for sending all the people that need my help. I'm so grateful you sent it to me, and I can't wait to work with them. I probably have referrals on my phone right now. Just doing this with you. There's referrals in my phone right now.
Who's meant to work with you will work with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I absolutely know that people are coming to me because they are. There was a time they didn't, but I would speak that anyway. And now they are. Mary's son told me there'll be a time where you get to pick and choose who you work with. And all of you, so you don't know me in that day, I laughed at him. I wasn't disrespectful, but I literally laughed at him because I couldn't give this away. Now I'm living what he told me. So 90 minutes. So all you do is you reach out to me. We set up a time. We do the 90 minutes. At the end, I just say, this is what it looks like working with me. This is what you'll need to be doing. This is how many weeks it is. And this is your investment. And then it's yes or no. No pressure.
So Rob, I put your website in the chat. It's www.resultswithrob.com for everybody. But would you like me to put your phone number in there? Would you rather?
Yes, please. Okay. Yes, please. And I tell you why. I don't mind people calling me or text me, but I'll tell you why. You sent a referral to me, Jamie, earlier today, yep. And she said the website was blocking her. I called my IT people. They're working on it. Don't count on the website. They'll say, send Rob a message. Don't count on that until I find out it's true. As a matter of fact, I don't know that until I talk to them again. Just happened today. So yeah, just call or text me or email me, and I will respond. So this is what I tell people. If this resonated with you, if you're excited about what you learned today and you want to learn more and you actually want to apply it to your life, see, I walk and breathe this. Jamie and Tim walk and breathe this now. And do we do it perfectly? No, but you can. You know, Dalai Lama says we never get it done. So I'm okay, right? But I show people this. I don't know if you can see this. Can you see this? This is what I show people at the end of my things. Can you read it?
No, I don't think.
All right. So it's two dinosaurs watching Noah's Ark pull away. And it says, oh, crap. Was that today? Was I supposed to call him today? Call me. We'll have fun. I will help you. And if you leave, my gift to you is this. If you leave without saying yes, or I got to think about it, that's fine. You will leave with the gift of having your dream to read every day and get connected to every day. I promise you that. That is my gift to you. So I'm done, Jamie.
Well, thank you so much. That was amazing.
It was really good.
Yes, I will be reaching out. Thank you so much, Rob. Thank you, Jamie.
Yeah, you're welcome, guys. And it's right in the chat. And if you missed it, you can reach out to me and I'll send you his number. But it's 716-634-4909.
And Jamie, send me the recording too. I'd like to see how I was. It's always fun to learn, right? And secondly, one more thing I'll throw at you all. I usually don't do this till I work with people, and Jamie knows this one. Every morning, before your feet hit the floor, 10 things you're grateful for. 10 things you're grateful for. Now, I've had people say, well, I don't have 10 things. Yes, you do. And they come very quickly. We're cold here in Buffalo. I'm grateful for the heat. Right? I'm grateful for my wife. I'm grateful for my grandkids. You can get to 10 things very easily. Now, why would I ask you to do that? One of our greatest teacher, Louise Hay, she passed on as well. But she said, the more grateful you are, the more you get to be grateful for.
Mm-hmm.
So 10 things you're grateful for before your feet hit the floor tomorrow. Promise me that. And I'll be looking forward to hearing from some or not all of you. It'd be great. Looking forward to it. Thanks.
Bye, Rob.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rob.
You're
Everybody,
so welcome.
bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you, Jamie.
Bye, guys.
Thanks,
Bye.
Jamie.